One of the common problems you have is with doors is squeaky hinges. So this one I have actually just one of them that's squeaking, so I'm gonna fix that one. And it's technically, you can't hear this. It's right at the last bit where it squeaks. If you can hear that. So it's always a pain at night. Somebody's tiptoeing around, and then the last little bit, quiet, wakes up the whole house. So I'm going to work on that. So I'll give you a way of fixing that. So there's a couple ways to do it. Most of them are wrong. WD-40, nope. That'll make a mess in there and won't actually work. Any of these other type of lubricants, you can do it. It might work for a little bit. There's actually graphite in here. That's what keeps them from rubbing. So if you start mixing oil in there, it's just going to make a mess. So this one actually has had some graphite already put in there, or if it's put in by the manufacturer. You can see it on here. You can see just by wiping it there. So you can put graphite in there and it'll work again. But then it's just going to eventually start falling out, getting on here, getting on your paint. So one of the nicer ways that I found is to actually make these squeak-free hinges, or they call them squeak-free. It's a little bit different. The only thing, it might be difficult, I'll put down the link here, but it's this right here, is there's actually a plastic sleeve in here or it's like nylon or something that keeps the metal on metal contact away. So I'm going to replace this one, which is the one that's squeaking. Alright, so first thing you do is obviously there's 3 screws on each side, so we just got to take those out. This is the middle one, so it's probably not going to sag too much when you take out the door. These are actually solid core doors, so I have to think about that. Usually pretty small if you've never taken any out. Actually, again, these are solid core. I put some long screws in here so they would give the support. Instead of just relying on just the small little screws. Just be very You can actually hear that squeaking. So I should like to be very careful taking these in and out the screws, just because they can thread or they can slip very easily, and then you got bigger problems. Let's try putting this one in. And again, if you have torque settings or their speed, I would put this as low as possible. Be very careful so you don't, especially when you're using impact wrench, you don't want to just torque down, strip it out, and then you got bigger problems than a squeaky hinge. Okay, so just doesn't really matter which side you get. Sometimes one side's easier than the other. If you've never put in a hinge before, don't tighten them all down at once. Just kind of get them in loose. Otherwise, you tighten one side down, and then the screws stop fitting. Or you're fighting trying to get them all to line up. Okay. But this is the long one. We get this one in down. All right, let's see if you made a difference here. No squeaks. I hadn't actually tried that out. Tried out the hinge before I did this. So about halfway through recording, I was thinking that I was wondering what's going to happen if it doesn't actually fix the squeak. So it's good that it did. So again, you might have a couple hinges that are squeaking, so you might have to change this. One thing to note, again, you may not have an issue, but these are solid core, so they're really heavy. These seem to have a little more, I don't know if it's because there's multiple joints in here, or they've made them a little bit tighter and these are a little bit looser to keep from squeaking, is that these didn't seem to support as well. And I actually had the door sag just a little bit too much that it was actually hitting. Try one more time just to double check. Quiet. No squeaking at all. Perfect.